All right. Welcome everyone to study session number 5 of the book Ancient Language of the Soul, the Mystic Knowledge of Mantra. Today I am planning on covering chapters 9 and 10, but chapter 9 is pretty long. So we'll see how we're doing for time by the time we get to the end of chapter 9. If anything, we can probably push back chapter 10 until next reading and do 10, 11, and 12, or just 10, 11, and then do 12 and some notes in the bibliography at the back of the book. But we'll definitely be covering chapter 9 today. The book we're reading, as you can see on your screen, this is on the mysticknowledge.org website, the page called New Book Sale, the link, New Book Sale. And there you can find information on the text, as well as links to be able to pick up a copy on Amazon, both physical copy and a Kindle copy. I will be reading from the Kindle version and occasionally switching over to the PDF version to look at some diagrams and illustrations that are in the book. Let's go ahead and move into today's reading. So let me queue up the PDF as well. Similar to last week, the highlights, I'll make the highlights and bullet points after we go through the reading, so that on Sunday, when we do the open discussion, they'll be ready for us to look at and I can go directly to them, but it'll also give you an opportunity to make your own highlights and your own bullet points and notes and questions. The Sunday session, open discussion session, is about 1 week behind. So this past Sunday, we finished chapter 6. And the Friday before that, we read chapter 7 and 8. So this Sunday, we'll look at chapter 7. The following Sunday, we'll look at chapter 8, because there's a lot of information in those 2 chapters. And we'll follow along, probably the same thing. We'll probably dedicate an entire study session to chapter 9. Open discussion session to chapter 9. And maybe 10 and 11 and 12 we'll cover in a separate open discussion or multiple open discussions. So we'll see how it goes along. But there's at least a week gap to allow everyone to catch up with the reading, make their notes, and get their questions ready so that when we cover an open discussion, we can address those questions for you. All right, let us begin with chapter 9. Chapter 9 and 10 covers the chakra system, but chapter 9 is part 1, and then chapter 10 is part 2. So again, we'll see if we can do both chapters tonight. If not, then we'll just do chapter 9 and save chapter 10 for another study session. Chapter 9, the Chakra System, a system of sound vibrations that holds consciousness in place. The mystic science of the chakra system. The chakra system is a natural consciousness splitting instrument designed for the soul to allow it to involve itself into gross manifestation. Behind each chakra is a Bindu, or point of consciousness of the soul's essence, or all knowledge space connected to the soul. The chakras are points or parts of the soul's essence manifested in consciousness, but each point gives access to a glimpse of the whole and helps to break the illusion of individuality. The soul gave subtler physical expression to these points of consciousness through the arrangements of the sonic vibratory lines of force called the nadis. These nadis are subtler sonic vibrational lines of cosmic energies that carry positive, negative, and neutral charges of these cosmic energies. They, the nadis, wrap themselves around these manifested and unmanifested portions of the points of consciousness, which brings into manifestation a magnetic vortex system of cosmic energies and concentrated mind substance called the chakras. The ancient Tantric doctrines tell us that there are over 200,000 nadis that create a complex matrix system that identifies over 100 chakras within the human system. Within this chakra system, there are major, minor, and minute chakras, and each chakra type has a positive, negative, and neutral cosmic energy charge and access to the Bindu, or all knowledge space. These chakras are the seat of man's true consciousness. As man evolves through his many incarnations, the active functioning and awakening of these chakras denote his evolutionary status and his ability to translate various frequency levels of the universal mind substance within the sea of mind that we all live, move, and have our being within. When man can consciously activate the chakras to an awakening level, he then possesses the ability to translate the frequencies of universal mind, where he can read and understand the divine laws of God that holds creation together. As the soul configures the nadis hundreds of times around its manifested consciousness, it creates different levels of consciousness by splitting up the soul's manifested consciousness into many parts. This splitting of consciousness is done through the joining together of positively charged nadis and negative charged nadis, which brings about a segment of subtler and gross manifested consciousness that we call chakras, or man calls levels of mind. The positive nadis are known as the Pingala nadis, and the negative nadis are the Ida nadis. The Pingala nadis are responsible for the vital life force within the etheric, subtler, and physical structures. The Ida nadis are responsible for the mental energies within the etheric, subtler, and physical structures. The amalgamation of these nadis over the Bindu, or points of consciousness, which is known as drops from the infinite source, the Absolute, creates a pull on the cosmic energies, universal mind substance, and the sonic creative vibratory force of the universe. The soul takes these three mighty forces and amalgamates them together and builds various bodies of substance for each chakra, creating the etheric bodies, subtle bodies, mental bodies, psychic bodies, emotional/astral bodies, and the physical body. The soul, through karmic pressures, calibrates each chakra to a particular frequency of universal mind substance and cosmic energies, pranas. This calibration of the chakras brings about various qualities, particularly mental, subtle, psychic, and spiritual powers. And it also brings with it karmic limitations that can be considered to be karmic pressure that lead man to conformity toward the divine laws of God that permeates throughout all creation. In the Eastern ancient teachings of Tantric Yoga, they describe the calibration power of the chakras to be several sonic vibrations that radiate from the sun through a vibrational force. These sonic vibrations are the 360 Tatric rays, seed mantras for each chakra, and the chakra mantra for each chakra. It is said that the presence of the manifested Bindu creates a huge magnetic pull on these mighty forces of creation that carries with it deep cosmic signatures of the divine laws that govern the universal mind substance, prana, the all-pervading vital life force, and the manifested subtle gross matter. The Tantric teachings describe the mighty sun as a powerhouse source of cosmic energies for subtle and gross matter within the solar system. The sun gives off a sonic vibration that produces from it, the sun or solar logos, the resonation of the holy word known as the AUM, a creative sound vibration known to be the spoken word that brought creation into being, or the great mantra spoken at the beginning of the subtle gross manifestation of creation. This sonic vibration is released from the sun, and when it hits the earth, it's equally divided into 360 parts to match the 360 degrees of the earth. Then these Tatric rays, or modes of motion, arrange themselves within several major chakras that are situated along the physical spinal column of man, and or the path of Sushumna within the etheric and subtler bodies. The arrangement of the Tatric rays within the major chakras along the spinal column are distributed unequally to assist the soul in bringing forward a specific karmic signature of powers within the aura around each chakra. All life in this solar system comes through or from the solar logos, the mighty sun, for everything in the solar system is solidified light. This includes all the planets of this system as well. In fact, we are told the sun gives birth to all planets of the solar system, and these planets live and give birth to billions, maybe trillions of life streams during the planet's incarnation from the sun. During this time, those life streams evolve and pass from the classroom of their respective planet or are expelled from the planet so that this celestial being, the planet, may make its journey back to the sun to being reincarnated from the solar god once again, but on a higher celestial plane each time. I hope the reader does not think that I am rambling on and steering away from the subject, because this type of knowledge is important in understanding the essence of this subject. Let us come to the point and connect the dots of understanding and clarity on this subject that we are trying to convey here. The mighty sun projects the subtle sounds of the creative word released from the absolute at the beginning of creation. This creative sonic vibration is released from our sun every 32 minutes, carrying with it the great cosmic energy, prana. The quality of this sonic vibration encompasses all power and quality of sound. When this creative sonic vibration is released from the sun, it carries with it the 5 major pranas that is radiated throughout the solar system and beyond. As this prana radiates from the mighty sun, it hits the earth from all 360 degrees. These degrees are considered rays in the ancient teachings, and each ray is accompanied by a diva, a keeper of ray or light. The 360 rays released from the sun are broken up into 3 major divic ray groups that manage these rays, and within each group, there are 2 governing divas. The 3 major groups that represent the 360 rays seem to have been derived from the following. Go into that table. Table 11, divic ray groups. Broken down into 3 columns. First column, origin of the rays. Second column, name of ray groups. And column number 3 is number. So first, the origin of the rays, the sun rays that are absorbed into earth and delivered to the root to man. The name of that group of rays is the Agni rays, fire rays, the Kanda Diva group, and that contains 118 divic rays. Second, we have the sun rays that fall directly on the earth, penetrating the atmosphere down to man. The name of those rays are the sun rays, or the Surya Diva group. Those contain 106 divic rays. Number 3, we have the sun rays that are reflected from the moon to earth and then down to man. Those are the moon rays, or the Chandra Diva group, and that contains 136 divic rays. For a total of 360. We are told that governing divas are lodged in the 6 major chakras within the human body. The 6 major chakras in question are those that are along the spine, from the base of the spine chakra, Mudahara Chakra, to the Christ Chakra, Ajna Chakra. Each one of these chakras has a divic host for every divic ray that helps in the management of it. Why is this important? And what are these divic rays from the sun? The divic rays from the sun are the cosmic energy with a specific sonic mode of motion that comes from and through the sun in order to assist in maintaining all aspects of manifestation. Each ray carries with it a particular creative power. This power is then transmitted to man through the various chakras of the human body. The cosmic energy is then pulled within the chakras and distributed throughout the subtler bodies and physical organs of the body via the nadis, which can be called the etheric lines of force or the subtle nervous system. As this cosmic energy enters the chakras, it's guarded and handled strictly under the divine laws of karma with great care by the various divas of the rays. The following table outlines the diva groups of the solar rays. So table 12, divic groups and the chakras. First divic group is the Kanda divic group, the Mudahara, containing the Mudahara and Svadhisthana chakra, or the base of the spine and the sex center. The base containing 56 Tatric rays, and the sex center containing 62 Tatric rays. The next group is the Surya Divic group, containing the Manipura Chakra and the Anahata Chakra, the solar plexus and heart center respectively. Solar plexus containing 52 rays and the heart center containing 54 rays. And then finally we come to the Chandra Divic group, containing the Vishuddhi Chakra, the Ajna Chakra. Shuddhi is the throat center containing 72 rays. The Ajna, or the Christ center, containing 64 rays, the total 360 rays. Each chakra gives life to a particular function of the physical body. Emotional astral bodies, subtler bodies, mental bodies, physical bodies, and etheric bodies. The huge magnetic pull produced from the presence of the Bindu brings these mighty forces into play to carry out the will of the soul to engross itself into a lower grade of mind substance and subtle physical matter. In the next several paragraphs, I will give a brief statement about the major chakras along the spinal column. The brief statements will focus on the manifested levels of consciousness and tools of expression through each chakra. The chakra system. The chakra system as we know it is a result of the Nadi system defining it with its Nadi knots, which gives the location of the chakras. It's where the Nadis intersect 7, 14, and 21 times that allows us to locate these Nadi knots called chakras. It is stated that every time one of the Nadi lines of force intersects 7 times, a minute chakra can be found there. Every time the Nadi lines of force intersect 14 times, a minor chakra can be found at this location. And every time the Nadi lines of force intersect 21 times, we will find a major chakra manifesting itself. Our chakras formed or defined by the Nadis, of course, is defined because the chakras came first, the Nadis came second. The chakras are points of consciousness and the point of universal consciousness that the soul can work from and realms of existence where the soul can manifest its many aspects of consciousness to gain valuable experience. The point of consciousness is connected to the all-knowledge space. It is the Bindu. Therefore, it had to be there first. The Nadi system only defines the location of it and assists in redistributing its cosmic energies. The chakra points within the Nadi system are vortex centers for various levels of pranic and mind substance. There are entry points to the soul and spirit's all-knowledge space. Within each chakra is a series of seed mantras and one chakra mantra that is associated with each chakra that is used to activate the supra-conscious points that links man with the spirit. These seed mantras and chakra mantras are sonic vibration that man must use to calibrate the subtler cosmic energies that enter and exit the chakras. The most popular chakras are the 6 known major chakras along the spinal column and the major crown chakra above the spinal column. Now let's take a look at table 13. Table 13, 7 major chakra, the bijas, petals, tattvas, and elements. First, we'll start at the base of the spine, the Mudahara Chakra, at the chakra bijas, LAM. Its number of petals is 4. The name of the tattvas is Bhuta. Sensitive matter quality is earth, and there it contains 56 tatric rays. Then we have the sex center of the Svadhisthana chakra, chakra bijas VAM, number of petals 6. Name of the tattvas Agni, or fire, and there it contains 62 tatric rays. Number 3 is solar plexus, or the Manipura Chakra. Its bija is RAM. Number of petals is 10. Its tattva is apas, or water, and it contains 52 tattvic rays. Number 4 is the heart chakra, or the Anahata Chakra. Its bija is YAM. Number of petals is 12. Its tattva is vayu, or air, containing 54 tattvic rays. Then we come to the throat center, or the Vishuddha Chakra. Its chakra bija is HAM. A number of petals, 16. Its tattva is akasa, or ether, and it contains 72 tattvic rays. Then we come to the Christ center, or the Ajna Chakra. Its chakra bija is the OM, contains 2 petals. Its tattva is manas, sensomatic quality is mind, and it contains 64 tattvic rays. Those are the 360 tattvic rays and the 50 petals. Let me mute my phone. Sorry about that. The first 6 major chakras along the spinal column are the chakras that represent the Shakti power within the Nadi system. And the crown chakra represents the Shiva power within the Nadi system. The major chakras that we will concern ourselves with are the above chakras mentioned along the spine. Listed below are several components of the chakras that we will examine in order to grasp the understanding behind the ancient teachings of yoga as it regards to each chakra. Throughout the ancient teachings of yoga, when describing the chakras, the following components are always mentioned. Number 1, the Bindu, a point of consciousness within every chakra. This Bindu can be described as a point where the where the manifested and unmanifested point of the soul's points of consciousness reside, making it the point of the all-knowledge space, or a point where the higher self or higher consciousness of man operates from. And from this operating point, all the other components of the chakras are brought to action to absorb the presence of this sacred power and cosmic moment of the spirit and soul, creating the point of manifestation. The Bindu is the center of every component within the chakra and the signature power behind all the actions of every component from the chakra and every component that extends from the chakras. Number 2, nada, an all-pervasive sonic wave. The inner sound that becomes audible when the network of nadi current has been duly purified. Nada is that sound vibration released from the Absolute in order to bring about creation. It is said that the Absolute spoke the word, and this word caused the activation of the 2 mighty forces that were in a complete state of static. These 2 forces have been described as akasa and prana, which was manifested but not activated. The sound vibration nada stroke this static force of akasa and prana, causing a rippling effect, a perpetuated movement that is called creation. This pure nada force resides in the Bindu, or near this Bindu, where the soul uses this nada force to recreate or perpetuate motion that was started from this word being issued at the beginning of creation. Number 3, the bijas, or seed mantra, are sonic vibrations that assist in calibrating the mind frequencies and subtler energies. They make up the building blocks of consciousness. It is through the bijas that the nadis actually pass through the chakras. In other words, the nadis pass through the chakras via the bija chakras. Number 4, the Tatric rays of the chakra. These Tatric rays are from the Tatric matter that extends from the sun, that is the reflective Tatric rays from the earth, and the reflective Tatric rays from the moon. These Tatric rays permeate throughout the whole solar system within all subtler and gross matter. They are the resource of sonic vibrations released from the mighty sun. It's described as sonic modes of motion that act as a carrying agent for the pranic forces being radiated from the sun. While acting as the carrying agent, these Tatric rays group themselves into 6 groups, and each group represents the sensitive matter that assists in building of the subtle and gross vehicles of expressions for mankind. These 6 groups align themselves along the major chakras located on the spinal column. The Tatric rays help to synchronize, compress, and condition the cosmic energies into a denser gross material to allow the soul to build its vehicle of expressions such as the etheric, mental, subtle, astral bodies, and the physical body. Number 5, positive karmic energy. This aspect of prana is recognized as the Pingala flow of energies from the chakras through the nadis. This flow of cosmic energy is the vital life force of prana that serves to polarize all the systems within the human body. This polarization causes a definite vibrational pattern that promotes specific qualities that's associated with this flow of energies. Number 6, negative cosmic energy. This aspect of prana is recognized as the Ida flow of energies through the nadis. The Ida flow of cosmic energy has a mental quality of energy flow that also polarizes all the subtle bodies and the gross human structures. Number 7, Diva and host of divas of the chakras. The Divic kingdom is hard for most people to visualize. But if they realize that the divas that are referred to in most cases are actually the active forces of the elements and cosmic energies. In other words, the divas are an aspect of the vibrational forces of all energies. Within the vibrational nada wave of Shakti, there's a conscious race of beings whose sole purpose it is to manipulate these forces from one specific pattern to the next. In fact, some ancient texts state that the forces are the divas themselves, just as the human body thrives on the need to breathe and drink water. The divas thrive on the need to take in the pranic energies created from the thoughts and actions of all forms of life and manipulating these energies to create the environment or reactionable results deserved from those thoughts and actions. Number 8, the magnetic force for mind substance. The magnetic force within the chakras is the result of Bindu, which is concentrated compactness of nada and Shakti power. A chakra is made up of a series of subtle sound vibrations extending from the Bindu that manifest the bija, which manifest the letters on the petals. These subtle sound vibrations have a natural magnetic power over mind substance, or mind Shakti, and cosmic energies. Each chakra manifested flow of cosmic energies is governed by the signature of Tatric forces that places tremendous pressures on these vortex centers chakras of cosmic energies and mind substance being manipulated and managed by the soul. These tatric forces are the primary karmic pressures invoked by the creative word released from the start of creation. The tatric forces placed on the chakras are different creative sonic vibrations that produce a variety of magnetic attractions and qualities that the chakras use to calibrate the universal cosmic energies and mind substance. These sonic vibrations are called bijas, seed mantras, surrounding the Bindu of each chakra, which is the point of consciousness of the chakra and is the point where the soul expresses its consciousness by using the Shakti power, the Kundalini that's activating these creative sonic vibrations in order to allow the lower conscious mind to amalgamate with the higher consciousness, or where the soul is bathed in the supreme light of the spirit. There are other karmic pressures that have a manipulating effect of the chakras, and that is the thought impressions left on the auric field and the chakra entry and exit point. As man moves through evolution, his thought and actions leaves thought impressions or karmic signatures, samskaras, on the auric body that mold and restrict the functions of these chakra centers until man transmutes these actions into something good and productive. The chakra system is the point where the bodiless consciousness of the spirit is split up to form the mind of man. It is also the point where the different levels of consciousness, which are the different realms of existence, is formed to allow man to express itself individually through the Maya Shakti, the power that makes whole into not whole. Man's true points of consciousness are the chakra consciousness that lie within the chakra centers, not in the physical brain. The physical brain is a receiving set for conscious mind. The base of the spine. The base of the spine chakra, Mudahara Chakra, is where the power of Shakti found its level of equilibrium after falling or manifesting itself from the Shiva power. This equilibrium brings self-consciousness to man. It is said that there was one power and source, and that power and source was the absolute. Now, this absolute God is the source of all things in a pure static state of being, motionless, but with the potential of all motion. It possesses all power, but manifests no power. It makes no sound, but has the ability to make all sounds. It is omnipresent, but its presence is not heard or seen, but is the background for all things. It is pure consciousness, and yet it has no consciousness because it is above this. The Tantric philosophy called it Shiva, a pure state of power. This Shiva took from within itself a power that was the opposite of its pure state of power and called this power Shakti. Now this Shakti power moves forward and produces the thing we call creation. The Shakti manifested itself as Shakti omniscience, Shakti mind, Shakti prana, Shakti sound, and Shakti love, the power of preservation. This Shakti power is that thing we know as creation. Now, when this Shakti power split itself from the Shiva, the crown chakra, or the Sahasrara chakras, and falls to the base of the spine chakra, the Mudahara Chakra. On its way down, it stops and defines each major chakra along the spinal column, creating a whole world or states of consciousness that man can live and gain valuable experiences from on his journey back to the Godhead, the crown chakra. As the Shakti power falls, it becomes more and more engrossed in mind substance and solidified energy, which means that the cosmic energies are restricted and slowed down to the point where it becomes so heavy that the great power it possesses cannot be demonstrated without the control of the binding forces that place this great limitation upon it. So when the Shakti power reaches this point of the spine, it has a combinative experience of all the above and below chakras, which demonstrate itself as stored potential power in regards to the above chakras and as stored samskaras in regards to the chakras below the Mudahara Chakra. When the Shakti power reaches its lowest point, and it then makes its way back to the lowest equilibrium of consciousness, the base of the spine chakra. But before it does, it expresses itself through hundreds of minerals, plant, and animal species before finding its way back to this equilibrium point of consciousness called the Mudahara Chakra, where the Shakti power falls into rest or dormant state of consciousness, where it reveals its inner Shiva and wraps its Shakti power around itself 3.5 times, expressing the balance points of consciousness. For it is here where intelligence of good and evil is realized and man gains his self-consciousness. It is here where the 3.5 energy configuration reveals the pathway of evolution back to the Godhead. It is here where the Bindu expresses OM 3 times, giving life to the basic substance or principle of the entire phenomenal or manifested world, Prakriti, composed of the 3 gunas, Triguna, or attributes, Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva. Tamas is the gunas that represents darkness and inertia, which is one of the 3 gunas of nature, Prakriti. Ragas are the gunas of nature, Prakriti, that are categorized by restlessness, activity, and ambition. Sattva is one of the 3 gunas of nature, Prakriti, which represents the pure, equilibrated state of mind or nature. The following table outlines the expressed powers of the Mudahara Chakra and the 3.5 coiled Shakti configuration that brings into manifestation that thing we call Kundalini. Table 14, the dormant Shakti power, Kundalini. Mudahara Chakra, base of the spine chakra, the dormant Shakti power, Kundalini, coiled 3.5 times with the Mudahara Chakra. The first coil, the mantras of OM, measured consciousness and time and space. This is the first OM that presents a time sequence of past. The guna quality is tamas, and its waking state, the 3 states is a waking state. And the types of 3 experiences is subjective. The second coil, or the second repetition of the OM, represents the present time sequence. Its gunic quality is rajas, and its state is sleeping. And the type of experience is sensual. The third coil, represented by the third repetition of OM, represents the future time sequence. Its gunic quality is sattva. Its state is dreaming. And its experience type is absence. And then comes the half coil, which represents transcendence. And its time, gunic quality, state, and experience are all beyond. Okay. The Mother Earth is a cosmic being that controls and conditions all the subtle and gross forces that permeates its existence. Just as the core power of this great being lies hidden under its great layers of the Earth's crust, yet its magnetic force propels all nature forward and sustains all life. The mankind Kundalini power propels all active force within man's subtle and gross bodies. Its offspring, the human body, has the same natural characteristics. It has this internal power called Kundalini hidden within its subtle frames that maintains and sustains it throughout its many earthly reincarnations within its subtle and gross vehicles of expressions. While this Kundalini lays dormant at the base of the spine, Mudahara Chakra, its magnetic force or power is like vibrating tentacles that vibrates throughout the Nadi system of man's subtler nervous system that makes up the etheric body and helps to create the various levels of man's consciousness. The Nadi system has three major types of nadis that transmit cosmic energies, Kundalini, throughout man's subtle and gross bodies. These are the Pingala Nadis, a positive flow of cosmic energies, the Ida Nadis, a negative flow of cosmic energies, and the Sushumna Nadis, which are the flow of both positive and negative cosmic energies. These nadis are located throughout the body. In fact, they are the subtle background of man's existence. The base of the spine chakra is the first state of self-consciousness for man. It is that state where man can say I or I am. It's that state of consciousness where man begins to build his own layers of positive or negative charge and scars that begin to shape and mold the auric bodies of man from his self-conscious state of thoughts and actions. Up until this time, the auric units or layers that make up this complex etheric subtle bodies have been impregnated with the base mental, animalistic, instinctive cravings and desires of its past samskars, mental impressions or scars of previous incarnations. Now, with the drawing of the self-consciousness, the individual is no longer being guided by the subconscious mind. The Diva of the mental bodies and subconscious mind will always follow the divine laws of God. This is the part of the animal mind that we call nature when we say nature is guiding the animal kingdom. In the animal kingdom, their goal is to reach the Mudahara Chakra, which brings them to a self-conscious state. To them, the Mudahara Chakra is what the Christ and Crown Chakra, Ajna Chakra, and Sahasrara Chakra is to us. In the Mudahara Chakra consciousness, man begins his journey of evolution through living in a self-conscious state. And in this state, he also operates on an unconscious state of mind and a subconscious state of mind. The Mudahara Chakra is the first major chakra that man works through as a self-conscious being. Each major chakra along the spinal column region represents a specific realm of existence and a level of consciousness. The base of the spine chakra, Mudahara Chakra, is the level of consciousness where man was cut off from the lower animal world and the higher spiritual worlds. It is the middle passage, the end of animalistic existence and the beginning of a self-conscious existence. This plane of existence is where man emerges in the Mahamaya conscious existence, the great illusion, as an individual that is separated from the whole, the absolute or God. Kundalini is a primarily dormant life force within the body of mankind. It is that power lying deep within the base of the spine chakra, Mudahara Chakra. This energy force is the primary life force of man's consciousness. The Tantric doctrines tell us that it is the microcosmic Shakti power within the human body. The Tantric philosophy describes this Shakti power as the power that the soul uses to form the great illusion, Mahamaya, of individual consciousness as it descends to the base point of consciousness, the root of man's existence, the Mudahara Chakra, and lodges himself in the constant cycle of samsara, the wheel of rebirth. The fall of Shakti power chart. It's pretty difficult to see in the PDF, so I will use the diagram to display this when we get to it in the Sunday open discussions. It is said that when the Shakti consciousness of mind and pranas being driven by the will of the soul reaches the root chakra, Mudahara Chakra, it falls into a dormant energy configuration, which is called Kundalini, that moves man's consciousness from the whole to the not whole. This omni-awareness the soul shared with the spirit, in a limited capacity, of course, is lost by the effects of the dormant energy configuration. This energy configuration of Kundalini Shakti is described as being in an energy pattern that resembles a 3.5 coiled serpent that blocks the doorway to Sushumna. Sushumna is man's pathway or passageway to his higher and more expanded levels of consciousness. Sushumna is the inner channel of the spinal column, where the Bindu of the 6 major chakras along the spinal column resides. This higher consciousness can only be experienced by the Kundalini rising and traveling through Sushumna and activating the various chakras that reside along the spinal column within Sushumna. Now, the action of this dormant energy configuration of Kundalini Shakti blocking the passageway to Sushumna activates and perpetuates the separation of the Shakti power. The separation of Shakti power signifies man's limited conscious awareness. It is the whole becoming the not whole. It is the 5 elements splitting and manifesting its opposite aspects. It is the 5 major pranas, or of subtler forces, manifesting the 5 minor pranas of gross physical forces. It is the heat within the Shakti power manifesting itself as the Pingala Nadic force with positive charged subtle and gross energies. It is the cooling factor within the Shakti power manifesting itself as the Ida Nadic force with negative charged subtle and gross energies. It is the magnetic energy that lies between these 2 opposite forces that holds mankind in a constant flux, not allowing him to see the true stillness of consciousness. This magnetic flux is the Mahamaya, the great illusion that mankind lives and makes his being within. This subtle magnetic flux that lies between the positive and negative forces is the residue of consciousness that mankind strives to exist in life after life. This residue of consciousness that formed out of the formation of the dormant state of Kundalini creates a separation of Shakti power that manifests basic consciousness. This separation of Shakti power brings into being a huge desire factor that permeates throughout the manifested gross substances. This desire factor, or kama factor, holds the mind substance that ignites the basic consciousness of man to pull on either the positive charge Shakti power, male, or the negative charge Shakti power, female. Now, the split of these pranas, cosmic energies, brought about a magnetic pull of these opposite forces. This magnetic pull can be considered or recognized as the place where man's many desires and passions arise from, with the conscious awareness being split up into thousands of directions and narrowed down to a single level of awareness, it creates a basic consciousness that gravitates towards either a positive charge energy flow, which is a male vehicle of expression, or a negative charge energy flow, which is a female vehicle of expression. Once the soul uses these two as vehicles of expression, they have a huge magnetic attraction to each other that lasts for lifetimes and countless reincarnations. Mankind craves the opposite sex, not realizing that it's the great illusion, the Mahamaya, and that it's only the side effect or the I becoming the not I. This craving becomes a driving force of man's basic astral and physical existence. It's the sex impulse, the vital life force of the subtle level, and it's the vital life fluid on the physical level. Now, can you follow the logic? Man's true consciousness operates from a state of Sushumna, where the positive and negative flow of prana travels and operates in one direction. The illusion that comes over him when the soul encases itself in these various vehicles of expression stops him from realizing his true identity. The male and female sex impulse is the magnetic flux that came about from Kundalini power going dormant, or the I that is the soul operating through the Sushumna, becoming not I, which is a split of consciousness, various chakra levels, operating through a chakra with a primal energy source that's either Pingala, of male energy, or Ida, a female energy. The great magnetic flux between the two is expressed as desire and passion for the opposite sex, which creates a huge distortion of mental substance that these desires fester and live within. Can you understand that within the body, the Pingala flow of force is primarily a vital flow of pranic energy, and the Ida flow of force is primarily a mental flow of energy? So neither force can ever be separated from each other because they're totally dependent on each other for their existence. Prana shadows mind, and mind shadows prana, because both are one and one are both. And their only real existence is the living fires of consciousness when it's expressed through Sushumna, when the positive and negative flow of prana travels and operates in one direction. This Sushumna Nadi is the meeting place of all three major qualities of energies that flows through physical and subtler bodies of man. It is here that positive charged cosmic energy, pranic, forces and the negative charged cosmic energy forces join together and travel in one direction with one purpose, in the Sabda vibrational force to bring about higher states of consciousness. When this Pingala Nadic force and Ida Nadic force join together, it manifests a third force, which is a neutral charge flow of energies called a Shumna Nadic flow of cosmic energy. Both Pingala and Ida Nadi energies travel around the major chakra system thousands of times. Each Nadic force travels from a different direction, right to left and left to right, north to south, south to north. As these Nadic forces move around the major chakras, it identifies over 100 major, minor, and minute chakras. These visible and invisible chakras pull on these Nadic lines of forces in order to mold and shape the different qualities of Shakti force within it. The Pingala Nadis has a quality of vital life force that distributes itself throughout the body. The Ida Nadis has a quality of mind Shakti force that distributes itself throughout the body. The Sushumna Nadi positions itself between the right Pingala and left Ida Nadis, which creates a straight line of force from Mudahara Chakra to Sahasrara Chakra. This Sushumna Nadic flow of energies carries a Shakti quality of the preservational forces of all cosmic energies. The Sushumna Nadic line of force holds consciousness in manifestation on several planes, lokas, of existence, and allows man to gain countless lifetimes of valuable experience. And in the illustration, we have the Sushumna Nadi. Again, it's difficult to read in the PDF, but I will, when we get to this in the Sunday session, I'll show this diagram again. But just really quick on the outer layer, I can't read that. The inner is Brahma, the outer is Sushumna Nadi, and I can't read the two on the side, but we'll go into that in the text. It is said that the Sushumna Nadi has 3 inner channels that seem to compress all the qualities of Shakti force of the Nadic and Chakra system into one minute channel that pushes upward and forward, opening the major chakras and giving tremendous power over the cosmic energies and mind energies, placing man's conscious awareness on a supra-conscious level. The first layer of the Nadic vibrations within the Sushumna Nadi is called the Vajra Nadi, a conduit inside the central channel that extends from the genitalia region to the head region. The Vajra is described as a hard, diamond-like substance, hard but lustrous with the light and power of thunderbolts. It is said that this layer of Sushumna Nadis, the Vajra Nadi, is a place where the sexual energy, ojas, connects with the brain. Ojas is the highest form of base physical manifested energy in the human body, which is a concentrated form of semen. The second inner layer of Sushumna Nadi is called Kritra Nadi. The configuration of this Tritra Nadic force is of a sattvic quality, a pure Shakti force or fire, Agni, sun, Surya, and moon, Chandra, at its highest level of equilibrium throughout every level of its channel. These 3 energy configurations are known as the 3 aspects of Sabda Brahma. Within the Tritra Nadi is the Brahma Nadi, where the pure cosmic energy of evolution flows as the power of Kundalini. It is the Kundalini power that travels through the Brahma Nadi, where all major chakras resides. As the Kundalini power passes through this channel, it opens each chakra that resides along this inner path of the Sushumna's Brahma Nadi that brings man from a limited conscious state to an expanded conscious state. The sex center. The sex chakra, Svadhisthana chakra, is where the seat of man's consciousness resides. The Sanskrit word sva means one's own, and the Sanskrit word for adhisthana means residence or dwelling place. This chakra is the life-giving force of the subtler bodies and gross physical body. It regulates the Vyana pranas throughout the human system, subtle and gross expressions. It is the place where life is initiated on the gross physical plane. It's also the place where the physical brain, an instrument of transmitting mind substance, is influenced heavily from the sex chakra, Svadhisthana chakra. The sex chakra engages or triggers the physical brain to use the frequency of its pranic forces to maintain and sustain the gross physical consciousness. This chakra is the second chakra along the spinal column line of major chakras. Its presence is easily recognized within our physical environment, considering the makeup of our present science and technology today. All of our technologies are based on positive and negative charged energy particles that come together in order to produce usable energy. When you have an electrical machine, it has an electrical male plug that's inserted into an electrical female receptacle. And when the two are joined together, a free flow of controllable and usable energy is produced, which animates the machine into a usable instrument. When you have a combustible engine, the engine is the female component and the fuel is the male component. When you place the fuel in the engine, the fixture of the two produces energy that drives or animates the engine into a workable instrument. This chakra activates the mind substance to a level where man lives and operates on the mind frequency that flows through the sex chakra, Svadhisthana chakra. In other words, the sex chakra produces a level of conscious awareness where its environment is molded into the laws that shape and energizes the mind substance. Our environment today is largely manifested from the frequency of mind substance that originated from the sex chakra conscious level. The Bindu power that is expressed at this level gives the supreme static power of storing all conscious memories, all unconscious memories, conscious movements, and involuntary movements within the physical, subtle and physical bodies. The sex chakra is the level of consciousness or Shakti power that the soul uses to formulate the subconscious mind. The energies produced from the thoughts and actions of our past daily lives are looked on or called memories. The Tantric teachings call these memories samskaras, which are tiny bits of energy patterns that builds a unique and personal collage of energy patterns that produces its own pressures of karma on the auric bodies. The combination of these samskaras or collage of energy patterns dictates the karmic pressures and karmic patterns that each individual must experience according to their own actions. The samskaras are like seeds that have been planted within the auric bodies, waiting to blossom under the right conditions. The right conditions are when the karmic pressures that hold the energy patterns together within the auric bodies begin to loosen. And these samskaras or energy patterns manifest themselves with the current expressed personality and level of consciousness that the soul is working through at that time. The sex chakra Bindu creates a wave of endless potential that makes itself available for the sonic vibrational force at play here to mold and shape this flow of energy frequencies into levels of consciousness that manifest a quality of power. This power manifested here from the Bindu gives man his ability to maintain consciousness in a limited fashion through the expression of storing the past and present activity of thoughts and actions of man's experience through life within the mental bodies in an unconscious manner to man's conscious mind. The sex chakra is the home of the subconscious mind. The base of the spine chakra and sex chakra govern or produce the energy formation that builds and maintains the subconscious mind within the mental bodies that the soul's consciousness works through. The subconscious mind is the instrument the soul uses primarily for all the following things. Number one, the subconscious mind is used to store all past and present thoughts and actions of man's experiences. It not only records the events of the thoughts and actions, but stores the residue of power that contains the energy configuration, which holds the karmic pressures that are produced from these stored thoughts and actions. Number two, the subconscious mind regulates the energies throughout all the bodies: physical, astral, pranic, mental, and the etheric bodies. In the Pranayama studies, it shows that out of the 5 major pranas, the Vajra prana located at the sex chakra moves forward and radiates throughout the entire body. This Vajra pranic force regulates the vital life energies of the body, producing an involuntary level of consciousness, an animated level of self-consciousness that works in concert with each other, which allows the functioning of the machine-like vehicles called the physical body and astral bodies. Number 4, the subconscious mind uses the largest portion of the mental bodies, and it takes care of 100% of the functions of the physical body and subtle bodies. The energies radiating from the sex chakra pervades the whole body, recording, sustaining, and maintaining the laws dictated by karmic pressures produced from the thoughts and actions. Number 5, the sex chakra produces the subconscious component to the auric body that acts as the Divic forces of karmic pressures that conforms all of man's thoughts and actions to the pressures of the divine laws of God, karma. Is a layer of the auric body that receives the seeds of samskaras and stores them as fuels to be manifested at the right karmic time or burned up in the karmic fires of purification produced by right thoughts and actions of each individual. In certain theosophical circles, it is believed that this chakra was the base chakras at one time, before the fall of mankind, placing his basic consciousness at the base of spine chakra. Each chakra produces sonic vibrations from the main bija, seed mantra, of the chakra and petals of that chakra. These sonic vibrations produce a particular formation of energies that expresses a level of consciousness. The bija or seed mantra for the sex chakra, which is VAM, produces 6 petals or letters, which are tiny bits of sonic vibrations that mold the Shakti powers, cosmic energies, and mind energies that configure the mental bodies into an instrument that stores the energy patterns of all its thoughts and actions. The Tantric and Raja Yoga teachings describe this as samskara, mental scars or mental impressions produced from the life experiences of each individual, creating karmic patterns that take them lifetimes of reincarnations to transmute back into a positive, balanced flow of Shakti power. This Bindu power, Bija power, and the 6 petals power make a magnetic pull on the Tatric rays from the sun that is conditioned by the earth. The Tantric doctrines state that the 62 fire-earth Tatric rays are embedded in this chakra, creating a harmonic balance over the subtle and gross cosmic energies. The 6 petals are the embedded samskaras, mental impressions of the soul. It holds the power signatures of the initial manifestation that brought forth these forces of the chakras. It is the sonic sound that calibrates the 62 tattvas to mold and shape cosmic energies into subtle and gross matter. The Mudahara Chakra pulls the Shakti force down into the darkness of the tamas gunas quality and holds it there with its inertia power. This darkness and inertia of the Shakti consciousness brings about a separation from whole to the not whole. This not whole state of darkness activates the power of ragas gunas quality, the second gunas, rajas gunas, where it sinks the Shakti consciousness, where it sinks the Shakti conscious force into an active state of restlessness, where the Shakti consciousness, in an ambitious fashion, seeks to become a part of the whole again. Although this Shakti force is in a base and weakened state of consciousness, the Shakti conscious force are not totally aware of the whole, but feels the inner presence of the power. This feeling of the inner presence is the pure sattvic gunas, the third gunas, state that represents the pure or equilibrated state of mind or nature, which is the force that holds this Shakti consciousness. The Sex Chakra, Svadhisthana Chakra, moves this Shakti force or consciousness to a physical self-consciousness level that embeds self-consciousness and unconsciousness with an empowered subconscious state that stores eons of samskaras, which is stored mental impressions with huge megabytes of karmic pressure that can be activated under the right conditions. In order to operate through this maze of trigunas, 3 coils of life states are formed: the waking state, sleeping state, and the dreaming state. In Sanskrit terminology, this is called Pranayama kosha, which is the coils of life. The waking state, Sanskrit terminology for this is Jagrat, is the positive state during the daytime. This is the result of the 5 major pranas being influenced by the sun. The pranas flow north to south and east to west, giving a positive charge to the earth and within the body of man. The sleeping state, Sanskrit terminology, svapna, is the negative state during the nighttime. This is the result of the 5 major pranas being influenced or reflected by the moon to the earth. The pranas flow from south to north and west to east, giving a negative charge to Earth's subtle and physical bodies, and the subtle and physical bodies flow of pranas within the body of man. The dreaming state, Sanskrit terminology for this is Shushupti, is the neutral flow of prana, where the consciousness operates in one energy in a sacred place of balanced consciousness, Sushumna. Operates in as one energy in the sacred place of balanced consciousness, Sushumna. In this state, man is connected to the waking state and sleeping state, both the positive and negative pranic flows, and connects to create the third state, Sushumna. The seed mantras are the 6 petals within the Sex Chakra, which are the Nadic flow of prana that is streaming through the vortex center or chakra. When the power of Kundalini rises, these seed mantras are used to activate specific purification qualities and sprout the growth of certain powers of Kundalini within the body through the Nadi system. Some of the main purification qualities produced from this chakra are as follows. Number 1, the power to dispel gullibility. Number 2, the power to dispel suspicion. Number 3, the power to dispel mistrust. Number 4, the power to dispel contempt. Number 5, the power to dispel delusion. Number 6, the power to dispel disinclination. Number 7, the power to dispel false knowledge. Number 8, the power to dispel pitilessness. Okay. Symbolism. This chakra represents the subconscious mind of man's mental makeup. It is here where the cosmic energy manifests itself physically. This chakra begins life sustains and maintains life through its subconscious mind. It is fitting that the element of the sex chakra is water, with water being the symbol of purification. Water is also the giver of life and the sustainer of life. In fact, over 70% of the body is water, just as 70% of the Earth's surface is water. The sex chakra produces the energy configuration that allows the etheric and auric structures to collect the life experiences produced from the thoughts and actions of man and store them as mental power impressions. These collective mental power impressions become like karmic power seeds that place limitations on man's actions, which are called samskaras. The solar plexus. The Manipura Chakra, the solar plexus, is the third major Nadi knot along the spinal column, ascending from the base of the spine through Sushumna, the inner core of the spinal column. This chakra is considered to be the city of jewels. There are two Sanskrit words that make up the name of this chakra, Manipura. The Sanskrit word mani means jewel, and the word pura means city. The popular meaning and perception of this chakra is considered to be the chakra where the city of jewels resides. It's a chakra that expresses the power of the sun. It's a chakra that powers the full human structure. The soul of man configured the Shakti consciousness of this chakra to manifest the power of the sun and sustain this vision force of this power and continuously radiate the sacred power throughout subtle structures and the gross physical structures during its incarnations on the physical realms of existence. The solar plexus chakra is a storehouse of prana or cosmic energies. It is the conjunction point of prana. In the science of pranayama, there are 5 major pranas mentioned, which are prana, apana, samana, udana, and vyana. The conjunction points of the major pranas at this chakra are the flow of prana moving downwards and upwards, the samana flow located in the solar plexus region, and vyana flow that travel throughout the body, and finally the flow of apana traveling upwards and back downwards. The first major prana flow is prana, travels up and down between the solar plexus chakra and the throat chakra continuously. The second major flow of prana, apana, travels down from the solar plexus chakra to the base of the spine chakra and back to the solar plexus chakra continuously. As the first major prana ascends toward the throat chakra from the solar plexus chakra, the second major prana, apana, moves from the base of the spine chakra to the solar plexus chakra. When the prana falls from the throat chakra back to the solar plexus chakra, the apana flow of prana falls back to the base of the spine chakra. In basic man, the karmic pressures don't allow these two pranic forces to completely join together. When man has purified the Nadi pathways that carry the prana and apana energies, a balancing of these pranic forces is karmically allowed. Then, the combined force activates the Manipura Chakra and accentuates the powers of this chakra, giving man the ability to operate on higher levels of consciousness. In the practice of pranayama, one of the main goals is to balance these two major pranas through the control of rhythmic breathing, which encompasses an even flow of inhalation and exhalation of breath and measured retention of breath, with the incorporation of concentration and visualization. The control of prana and apana helps to gain control over the other three major pranas, which are samana, udana, and vyana. Samana is a major prana that is mainly concentrated in the navel area. The udana prana is concentrated in the throat area, and the vyana major prana is located throughout the entire body. If you were to study any balanced pranayama system exercises, you will notice that they activate 5 major pranas, which essentially assist purifying the Nadi pathways so man can operate on higher states of consciousness. In the Manipura Chakra, you have several sonic components that originated from the soul's manifestation of the Nada Shakti power. This Nada Shakti power moves the Shakti power in action through a vehicle of Shakti consciousness that shapes and configures all Shakti power into various forms of self-expression that the soul uses to gain experience in the most basic levels of consciousness. The following are the presence of the soul and the Nada sound expressions of the soul. Number 1, Chakra Bindu, the presence of the soul, the house of the spirit. This is the point of consciousness where the soul configures and expresses the Nada Shakti power out of a Shiva state of being to manifest the bija, or one-syllable seed mantra of the chakra. Number 2, Manipura Chakra Bija. The bija for this chakra is the holy sound of RAM, and this is a sound vibration used by the soul to bring a stagnant of the soul's consciousness into being. Or that's fragment. It is this one-syllable mantra that gives life to all the other bodies that operate on the Manipura realm of existence. It is the conscious will of the soul directing and configuring the cosmic energies, Shakti, into many modifications of expression. Number 3, the 10 chakra petals. The bija, or sound vibrations, gives manifestation to the 10 chakra petals, or 10 Sanskrit letters, which are nadis being pushed through the chakra vortex center, assisting the soul in creating a level of consciousness where, with the intersections of the flow of Shakti power passing through the vortex centers, configuring the 10 petals and producing the sound vibrations that manifest the consciousness. Number 4, 52 Tatric rays. It is calculated that the configuration of the 52 Tatric rays, or modes of motion under the influence of the Bindu force of the mighty sun, manifesting the power of building, maintaining, and preserving all life within the human structure, and assist in the development of the human structure on all the realms of existence. Number 5, the nadis. Extends from the chakra petals as thin tube-like lines of force that carries the Nada Shakti and the Nada Shakti, the Shakti as mind, the Shakti as the Bhutas, and Shakti as the Tatric force. The nadis from each chakra builds an etheric or auric body that act as an instrument that holds consciousness in place by pulling the Shakti power or cosmic energies into a matrix that arranges the Shakti to express various qualities of the Shakti under the control of consciousness manifested by the soul and directed by the spirits, man's divine spark of God. Number 6, the Granti Nut. The Granti Nut is a Shakti conversion. Here is the Bindu force of the mighty sun, the Suya Diva group. These holy sound vibrations that make up or initiate the cosmic flow of energies within the chakra, when calibrated properly, it naturally purifies the chakra and the associated nadis. The seed mantra and petals, such letters, are the sound vibrations that I'm referring to. It is said that the mantras and the divas are one. In fact, all movements of cosmic energies within the chakras are the result of a mantra being resonated by the soul. The resonated mantra by the soul activates the divas of that chakra, which oversees all movement of cosmic energies, making sure that all the karmic pressures are accounted for. The purification of this chakra and the associated nadis move any obstruction within the pathways of the Nadi system up to this particular chakra, allowing the concentrated flow of Kundalini to move through this purified section unobstructed. This chakra configures the energies that manifest the physical systems and organs that make up the digestive system and the organs that store and filter the energy resources which passes through them, such as the stomach, small and large intestines, the liver, the kidney, and bladder. The element that is manifested through this chakra is fire, or Tijas, which is demonstrated by the physical organs that correspond with this region. The activation and opening of this chakra allows man to conquer disease and death, also gives him the ability to exit and enter the body at will. At this level of development, man has moved beyond the basic mental astral realms and begins to exist on the higher mental astral realms. The intuitive and psychic abilities of this chakra are highly enhanced. The heart center. The heart center is the fourth major Nadi knot and is called the Anahata Chakra in Sanskrit terms. The Sanskrit terminology, Anahata, is said to mean the wheel of unstruck sound. This carries and releases the holy sound vibration or seed mantra, YAM, which is released from the Bindu via the soul through this chakra. This sound represents the control of the Shakti power as mind. This chakra gives meaning to the Shakti power through the manifestation of the Nadic power that resonates here. There are 12 petals that extend from this main seed mantra of the heart chakra. These 12 petals are 12 lines of the nada and pranic forces that help to manifest and define human consciousness. The mighty forces of the seed mantra and its 12 petals within this chakra is accompanied with 54 Tatric rays of the mighty sun to manifest the power that builds, maintain, and preserve the consciousness of the soul on several planes of existence simultaneously. These 54 Tatric rays are accompanied with 54 Divas. The motion of these Tatric rays indicates the presence of the Divas. A Tatric ray means a sonic vibrational mode of motion of cosmic energies that carries the will of God. In Sanskrit terminology, the Divic group that accompanies the Tatric rays is called the Surya Deva group. The residing Diva over the Bindu of this chakra is called Kakini, and it also releases the holy sonic energy configuration of YM to further demonstrate the preservation power of this chakra. This chakra is considered to be one of the upper chakras. It is where the higher planes begin and also where the higher consciousness begins to manifest itself. When mankind purifies his nadis, he activates them to the point where he gains the ability to awaken the major chakras to the sensory perception of the lower astral and physical consciousness. The awakening of this heart chakra gives mankind power over the basic emotional expressions of the soul's astral and physical vehicles of expression. Some of the main purification qualities produced from this chakra is as follows: to gain control over hope, care, anxiety, endeavor, sense of mindness, arrogance or hypocrisy, languor, weakness, awareness of body and mind, conceit, discrimination, covetousness, duplicity, indecision, and regret. The awakening of the heart chakra is done through the purification of the nadis. At this point of development, the man should have a good degree of mind control and a strong level of concentration. The control of man's mind gives control over his negative imagination that deposits and breathes diseased mental thoughts that develops into physical ailments. The activation of the chakras is brought about from man's ability to concentrate the power of Kundalini out of the dormant state of the 3.5 energy configuration it places itself in at the base of the spine chakra. Excuse me. After being able to move the Kundalini out of a dormant state with this power of intense concentration, he then pushes it up the inner subtle core of the spinal column, Sushumna, to manifest itself as Kundalini power through each chakra, thereby activating the chakras into full consciousness. When Kundalini is fully and consciously raised through Sushumna, man obtains a highly meditative state that unleashes the power of each chakra that Kundalini is lodged in. This is not an easy task to accomplish. It takes years and maybe lifetimes to reach this true state of meditation. A true state of meditation is brought about from the ability to place the mind in a pure state of concentration, where all the mental energy of the mind travels down one direction. With this concentrated level of mental energy, traveling down one direction creates a magnetic pull on all similar concentrated mental energies on several different planes of existence, pushing man to a state of contemplation. This state of contemplation is where man begins to register the higher frequencies of mind substance and cosmic energies that move in and out the major chakras along the spine. This ability of contemplation allows mankind to develop clear thinking, clear vision, clear hearing, clear smelling, clear touching, etc. Deep contemplation is possible through the purification of the nadis and man's ability of intense, prolonged concentration, which brings about many psychic visions and psychic powers that lead to a dual consciousness where man is aware of several worlds of existence in a controlled manner. The true activation of this chakra and any chakra happens under a state of deep meditation where the dormant power of Kundalini is fully activated and pushed up the spine to activate each major chakra along the spine. The activation of the heart chakra brings mankind the true power over this thing called love energy, which is the universal power of preservation that keeps creation in manifestation. The heart chakra also gives mankind the knowledge over the great synchronizing power of sound that pushes prana into perpetuated motion. This sound at the heart chakra is where the cosmic energies are molded into gross physical manifestation to build and sustain life on the subtle planes and physical plane of existence. As stated in this book in chapter 4, The Power of Mantra, we can actually say that there is a network or matrix of sound that extends from the physical heart in a series of sound vibrations that pumps the oxygenated red blood cells throughout the body while pulling the depleted oxygenated blood cells into the lungs to be oxygenated again. Okay. This initial power of sound consciousness continues its journey by modifying itself from the Pasyanti sound located at the solar plexus center into the heart center, Anahata Chakra, giving inner meaning to its movement. It is here where the naming of this Sabda power occurs. It is here where this sound power manifests its ability to mold mind and cosmic energy into shapes by forming the subtle bodies of man. This wave of consciousness can be easily seen in the physical bodies of man. We can actually say that there is a network or matrix of sound that extends from the physical heart in a series of sound vibrations that pumps the oxygenated red blood cells throughout the body while pulling the depleted blood cells into the lungs to be oxygenated again. Before this Pranayama sound appears, there is no outer form or object. It is here where the ancient writings display the vowels of the Sanskrit alphabet. It gives the keys to root sounds to all mantras. It is the great manipulating factor for all aspects of Shakti mind and Shakti prana. It's the great ingredients for the Shakti powers that build the vehicles of life and sustain them. The heart chakra is the vortex center that radiates the preservational power of love energy that sustains all things within creation. The throat center. The throat center is the fifth major Nadi knot and is called Vishuddhi Chakra in the Sanskrit terminology, which means the wheel of purity. It is the vortex center of purification. This chakra is the final resting place for the fourth aspect of sound, like Hari sound, that gives mankind the ability to manifest consciousness on the physical plane, on the physical and subtle planes of existence simultaneously. This is the chakra that man must operate from in order to break the ring past knot force field that bounds mankind here on earth. When mankind can fully raise the power of Kundalini consciously to the Vishuddhi chakra and finally activate and open this chakra, and it is said that he can exit his physical body with the etheric body in full consciousness and leave this planet and visit any other in this solar system for a specific time. Such is the power of the throat chakra. This chakra is made up of several sonic forces as well. It has a seed mantra bija, H-A-M, that produces 16 petals or letters, sound bits, and 72 Tatric rays, which are 72 modes of motion. These modes of motion configure themselves in a manner that manifests various qualities of purification, Shuddhi. These 72 Tatric rays are made up from the quality of the third Mahabindu force, the moon. The reflective energy rays of the mighty sun being conditioned by moon and its loyal Luna Divas help to shape the mental realms of earth. The Sanskrit name for this Luna Divas is called Chandra Diva group. These radiant moon rays collected from the mighty sun and reflect toward Mother Earth's dark side to assist in manipulating the sonic and cosmic energies that permeates the Earth's 365 days a year. This chakra has a Diva Shakini that resides over the Bindu of this chakra that releases the holy sound of HAM, and with it comes 16 petals, which are the seed mantras. Some of the main purification qualities produced from this chakra is as follows. To gain control over faith, contentment, anger, affection, sense of error, sorrow, grief, dejection, purity, attachment, agitation, appetite, and desire. These sacred sound vibrations that flow through this chakra, when activated properly, calibrates the chakra to release cosmic energies in a manner that will allow the divas to manipulate it by purifying negative aspects that is built up and release the power of Pingala and Ida within the Sushumna under the control of the mighty Kundalini Diva. The Christ chakra. The Christ chakra, the Christ center, Ajna chakra, is the sixth major Nadi knot The ancient Sanskrit word ajna means command. Place chakra after the word and you have a short meaning of command wheel. This chakra is located between the eyebrows within the etheric structure. This chakra is where the spinal column is terminated. It's also where the three Nadic energy flows called Ida, Pingala, Sushumna Nadis terminate and merge back as one consciousness. The first level of equilibrium of the Shakti power was at the base of the spine, and the second equilibrium of Shakti along the spinal column is the Christ chakra. The Bindu energy expressed here is the highest level of static Shakti power being expressed along the spinal column. The deep, pure meditation at this level takes the adept to a level of mastership. This chakra is called the Guru Chakra. The activation and opening of this chakra is brought about by the full conscious rays of the power of Kundalini entering a deep state of meditation. The man that fully taps into this power by raising the Kundalini to the Christ center and fully activating it destroys all negative karma of his past lives and transcends the positive karma of the past lives. This Christ chakra is made up of a bija sound of OM that produces two petals or letters. These two extend themselves as nadis. This chakra has 64 Tatric rays, which are 64 sonic modes of motion or movement patterns of the cosmic energies that travel through the chakra and nadis leave the chakra. The motion of prana is brought about by the nada sound aspect of prana, Shakti. Now, the nada aspect of prana is always accompanied with a divic presence. In fact, all movement is governed by the laws of karma, which are the divas in action. So if you have 64 Tatric rays, then you also have 64 divas that are responsible for the Tatric ray. The Tatric rays of this chakra are conditioned by the third Mahabindu force of the etheric body, the moon. These rays collect from the mighty sun and reflect off the moon toward the Mother Earth's dark side to assist in manifesting the mental power necessary for building and maintaining the mental astral planes of existence. The Tatric rays are the sonic modes of motion that act as harmonic signals to stabilize subtle and gross manifestation within the human structure. Hakini, a divic entity that resides over the Bindu within this chakra that release bija, the holy sound or seed matter of OM, and with it becomes the bija's additional seed mantras called petals, numbering 2 petals, which brings an end to the flow of cosmic energies called Ida and Pingala. All right. So as we are at and a little bit over our 2-hour mark, we'll conclude today's study session with chapter 9, and then next study session, we will look at chapter 10. Chapter 10 is not as long, so we may be able to do 10 and 11 next time.
Quick question.
Yes.
Yeah, so now we're doing the study classes now, because I haven't been here for Sunday, so I don't know exactly what's going on. So are we doing this on Friday now, or?
Right, so there's the study sessions and the study group. The study group is on Sundays.
Right.
That, like in the past, it was a traditional class format where Nehemiah was teaching, and we would have the floor open for any questions, either regard to the material or to any of the questions that we have. That since the pandemic, we switched over into the open discussion format, but we still have that format going on. That's the study group on Sundays. The study sessions on Friday is just a means to actually read through and study together the teachings. And we started off with the ancient language of the soul. So in future study sessions, we'll continue studying and reading through different teachings, and then we'll bring them back to the open discussions on Sundays with highlights and bullet points to discuss the reading that we did either the week prior or the study session that Friday prior to this open discussion meeting. Eventually, when we return back to our lecture format, then we'll expand the study sessions to be a reading and then a second class where we get together and discuss the material. And then while maintaining the lecture series open for others to attend. So we're constantly expanding what our offerings to the students. But for right now, this study session is, the readings of the study sessions are on Fridays.
Okay, okay.
All right, everybody, thank you very much for your attendance. Next Friday, we'll pick up with chapter 10, yes, part 2 of the look at the chakra system. This Sunday in our open discussion, we will pick up chapter 7. We'll look at the highlights and bullet points and some questions with that, as well as field any questions or comments you may have on any subjects reading from metaphysics or any other disciplines as well. All right, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.